So you can see my screen now and hear me? Okay, perfect. So, who would like to start? We basically try and read the verse and see how much of it we understand. Okay, so Hiba's first on my screen, so let's...
I don't mind reading it.
Yeah.
قد أفلح المؤمنون.
Okay, so how much of that do you get?
I know what al-mu'minun means.
Yeah.
But don't know what قد أفلح means.
Okay, so aflah, let's see if we can figure out it's linked to falah, and you must have heard hayya ala salah, hayya ala falah. So falah is success, yeah. Come to prayer, come to success, yeah. So basically the main idea in Arabic is that like every word usually has it usually has like a 3-letter root. And so based on what you add to the beginning and end of the word, it changes the meanings and it changes like the verb forms basically. So like for aflah, the main root word is fa-la-ha. Okay. And so whenever you see these letters in this order, then you know that it's okay, something to do with success. Yeah. So aflah is the form of like are successful or will succeed or and so falah was success, like it was the actual noun, and this is like a verb form. So that's something you'll come to pick up, is that like the verb can also be made into a noun based on what you add and what kind of form it's in. But again, just absorb these things, as it's fine. And then al-mu'minun, what you guys know from here, I guess, is that mu'min, we know mu'min, right? Which means like believer. Is everyone aware of this? Like mu'min is believer. And it's from like amana, which means believed, right? And then you've also heard aminu, aminu billah, which is like believe in God. It's more of like a command form, right? What else? Yu'min, we hear that a lot. Yu'min. So these are all forms of that. So mu'min is one believer. Now here's like the first suffix that I'll introduce. That's un. So un and in, when you see these at the end of words, then you know that it's talking about a group of people. So instead of one mu'min, these are mu'minun, these are a group of believers. Yeah. And then qad, you will come to realize, is one of those very frequently used words, which means it implies that kind of like the past. Qad aflah, like so successful are the believers, as in they have already succeeded, sort of qad. And it also, qad also sort of adds emphasis instead of just being like the mu'minun, the believers are successful. Qad adds more of like indeed they are successful or they have succeeded. Yeah. Then alladhina, do you want to go, Berivan?
Okay. الذين هم في صلاتهم خاشعون. الذين هم is they.
Yeah, them.
Them. Okay. الذين هم those who.
Yeah.
Okay. Those who fi is in.
Yeah.
صلاتهم. So those who صلاتهم خاشعون خشر. Wait.
Sure, yeah.
خشوع.
Yeah.
So those whom in salah with khushu.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they have
a little bit guesswork here, but
they have humility and they have like focus and consciousness of God in their prayers. So if I break this down,
Okay.
so alladhina, you'll also come to see this quite a lot. So alladhina is basically they, or those. And it's basically, again, if you see, you'll also see alladhi a lot in the Quran, right? Alladhi is like referring to something like that. And so here, ina, you see ina again, and we just said that ina or una refers to group, right? So now you know that this is like the plural form of alladhi. Make sense? Alladhi is that, or also him, like one person maybe, he, alladhi, and then alladhina is group, and then hum. So this is quite an important suffix because you'll keep seeing it again and again and again. So hum, when you add to the end of the word, it also means them. Okay, hum or him. So now here you notice it twice. Basically, you have alladhina hum fi salatihim, right? So this him and hum is the same. It's referring to like them, a group of them, and like instead of saying salah, it says salatihim, which means that their prayers. Does that make sense? This him is like, it might all seem very like overwhelming at this point, but just so you kind of get an idea about this prefixes and suffixes and that kind of stuff. And then again, khashirun, how we guessed what it meant was basically, Berivan was kind of like, okay, khashirun, what does that kind of sound like? Khushur, okay, khushur means focus. And then un, again, group of people. So it's talking about these group of people who have humility in prayer and concentration and focus. So linked to khushur. So basically that's what we'll try and do, and try and think of words that we are already familiar with, because a lot of these terms we really already know. Would you want to try number 3?
Sure. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والذين هم عن اللغو معرضون.
Yeah.
والذين, so I guess and then الذين, and those who, I guess they. عن is about, so عن اللغو. لغو means, I don't know, is it like sort of like useless talk or like, yeah, I think عن اللغو.
Yeah.
معرضون. معرضون. I think it's sort of they turn away.
Yeah. It's
So
from,
like, yeah.
anyone heard of that, like arad or iridilu, which is like turn away, or okay, so that would be new vocabulary. 3. So alladhina hum, I need to write that again. And then al-laghwi, that's a new term for us. Laghwi, which is evil speech.
That from Lugha?
Sorry?
That from
Lugha?
Lugha
Yeah,
as in
like
language.
lugha is just language, right? Yeah. Laghwi. And then mu'ridun is arad. I can think of an example where you would have heard this and know this. Arad. But you will see the same. And then un again, so it's still talking about those group of people that turn away. Okay. Hiba, your turn.
الذين هم للزكاة فاعلون. So والذين, and those who zakah, obviously, like tax, and fa'il from the verb to do. So and those who like give zakah or
Yeah,
observe it?
do it like exactly. فاعلون. And للزكاة. So the only, I guess, new thing here is li, which is a prefix here, للزكاة. So it's when it's referring to something. Li in the beginning is when it can mean a lot of different things in different contexts, but here it's like referring to the zakah. So those who are doers of the zakah, right? The zakah. So of or to. Berivan?
والذين هم لفروجهم حافظون. Those who لفروجهم فروج فرج فرج. It's just guessing, but it's like kind of a cloth something, clothing.
Closing, is it closing or
You know,
open?
cloth, clothing, clothes.
Faraj.
Like
Or opening. Faraj is an opening.
oh, okay.
Let me just double check. Faraj. Yeah, an opening.
Okay. So those who لفروجهم, they open for حافظون. حافظ. Isn't it like cover? حافظ
Hafiz is, so Hafiz,
is
on
covering.
Yahfaz, God is al-Hafiz, which means
God covers, right? That's
protects mainly. Hafiz.
yeah, okay, protects it. Okay.
So
So
from
so those are the people who protect something.
yeah. So him,
لفروج.
him. So it says him, you can try to guess that it means their something. So their openings, basically, furujihim means private parts. And so it means that they guard their modesty and guard their chastity.
So they guard their okay. Yes.
And it's from Faruj. So, and li again, you see that li, so of, they're referring to that. So li furujihim. So this, sorry, this him again. Oh, where's my pen? Hello. 1 second, guys. My OneNote is stuck, I think. Yes. Hello. Sorry, guys. I froze.
I think you're still frozen here.
Yeah, everything's frozen. And my OneNote crashed. Oh, great. Sorry, guys. Oops. Okay, is my video unstuck at least?
Yeah, it's unstuck. You're good.
So you guys have heard of like Yahfaz, right? Yahfaz or Hafiz, so protection, and also like the memorizers of the Quran, they're called like they protect and they guard the Quran in their memory, basically. Okay, I'll add that later. How about who was next? Was it Awa, you?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
إلا على أزواجهم أو ما ملكت أيمانهم فإنهم غير ملومين. إلا means except. أزواج is spouse. Okay, so except على أزواج, I guess, about their spouses, or ما ملكت. ملكت. ما is sort of like what / who. Actually, what I think. I'm thinking malakat, maybe sort of the same three letters as like Malik, and Malik is sort of like if you're sort of, I don't know, I don't want to say guardian, but like have supervision over somebody. So I think it's referring to maybe their slaves or the people that are under their, yeah, I don't know. And then, yeah, and then Ayman.
Yeah, aymanuhum, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, Aymanuhum, I think is their hands. So then maybe the whole ma malakat aymanuhum sort of refers to people that are under their authority, basically. فإنهم
Again in the Quran, this is a phrase that is referred to as slaves.
Yeah.
What their right hand possesses, because malakat, yeah, is like from possessing or owning.
Okay, yeah. And then فإنهم, so certainly, because yeah, in a certainly or like sort of emphasis. So they actually فإنهم غير. So certainly they.
Whom, yeah.
غير is kind of negation,
Yeah.
and then malumin.
So غير means without.
Malumin. I'm not actually sure.
So malumin is a blame. So it's from malum. Malum is like blame. One. So very good job. Azwaji him. So you see that again. Azwaj now is plural. Zawj would be singular, and azwaj plural. So azwaji him. There. Aw is like one of those really common words. I remember last time we made a whole list of commonly occurring words, and so aw is or, and ma, as you mentioned. So these ones you'd have to memorize, I guess, because they're kind of like you see them so often. So ma can be what or no. And this has usually been very confusing over the past year because we're like, which one is this? So they usually get confused with this the most. And malakat, so from Malik, as we said. And so we know this from Maliki Yawmiddin, which means owner of the day of judgment, right? And then mulk is like kingdom, right? So we know this as well. And so malak, malakat means what they own. And this ta is it's a suffix, but I'm not gonna introduce this right now. So to own, malakat. And then aymanuhum is like from yamin, basically. Yamin, right hand possessing. So aymanuhum. Aymanuhum. So hum, again, you know, that's what it's referring to. Their something. Aymanuhum. And so this is linked to yamin. Do you know what left is? Yamin, which is right. And yasar. But I don't even think yasar is in the Quran, so we don't need to learn that. So malakat aymanuhum, yeah, this phrase means slaves. And this is basically, it is repeated a lot. فَإِنَّهُمْ, this was good that you mentioned. فَإِنَّهُمْ is made up of like 3 different, very oft repeating فَإِنَّهُمْ. So whom we've done. Fa and inna you'll see again and again. So fa at the beginning means so or then. Okay. And inna is indeed. And you see inna quite a lot as well, right? So fa innahum means then indeed they. So indeed they. Make sense? فإنهم غير, and غير, as you mentioned, means it's like without, and it's sort of negation. So غير ملومين would be without any blame. Make sense? Yeah. So Hiba? Or is it better one? No, Hiba.
I think it's me. فمن ابتغى وراء ذلك فأولئك هم العادون. So fa you said was so. Man is who.
Yeah.
So who? I don't know ابتغى, but no, I don't know the root for that.
Beri or Bara. But that's fine. After
No, ابتغى.
this from now and then wara is?
Wara is behind or in front?
Behind.
Behind.
Yeah, wara is usually behind, but it can also mean beyond something.
ذلك is that.
Or this.
Or this, that or this. Fa again, so أولئك is like those who.
Yeah.
Hum again, and then عادون. I don't know what the root for عادون is.
Adun is like Ardu. Ardu and anyone heard of like Ardu Mubin? Shaitan is an Ardu Mubin.
That enemy though.
Sorry?
Doesn't adu mean an enemy?
Enemy, exactly. So Adun also means to transgress. Adun transgress. There was a very good app that I had, which I'm gonna find and make sure that I open up alongside, and it used to give all the root words and where it's from.
Qur'an Hive?
Is it
Does
Qur'an
that?
Hive?
Qur'an Hive does do that.
Qur'an Hive, but it's not showing me all the roots that the other one used to. Ah, here it is. Okay, it's just called Al-Quran. So if I look at verse number 7, Adun, yeah, it's from Adu, basically transgressing or being an enemy. So, and then Ibtigha is from Baghi, I think. Yeah. So it's fine. I'm not going to write Ibtigha because, so the other thing about these verses is like, if you recognize enough words, then even if you don't know some of the words in the middle, you can still understand. So it's like, it's still a good starting point. So we're going to not write Ibtigha today. So man, you already know faman, and then whoever goes wara'a dhalik, beyond this. And so you kind of like link it to the previous verse, which is that, you know, they guard their chastity except from their spouses and their slaves, then they are not blameworthy. But فَمَنِ ابْتَغَى وَرَاءَ ذَلِكَ, if someone goes beyond ذَلِكَ وَرَاءَ ذَلِكَ, then فَأُولَٰئِكَ, he or they, هُمُ الْعَادُونَ, then they are the transgressors. And adun, so the waw and the noon again tells you that it's referring to the plural group. Yeah. So let's stop here for today. And I'll send you guys the notes and hopefully see you on Sunday for another like bit by bit, drop by drop. Keep doing this, inshallah. And if you guys have any like feedback or anything, please let me know. All right. Salam.
Thank you.
Assalamu
Thank
alaikum.
you.
Nice to meet you guys.
You too.
Nice to meet you as well.
Alaikum salam.
Yeah.